Welcome back to N's Notebook LM. Today, let's talk about a weird puzzle in the world of running. We've got shoes with microchips, we've got space-age foam, so why are more runners getting injured than ever before? It just doesn't add up.
I mean, it's the question, isn't it? It drives so many of us crazy. You get the best gear, you follow a plan, you stretch, and yet something always starts to ache. A pull here, a sharp pain there. How did an activity that should be the most natural thing in the world turn into a constant battle with pain for so many people?
And this isn't just a hunch. The numbers are, well, they're kind of shocking. Up to 80% of runners get injured every single year. That's not a small problem. It's basically the norm. Just think about it. 8 out of 10 runners you know are probably going to get sidelined by an injury this year. It's a massive failure rate for something so simple.
And here's where it gets really strange. We've been throwing technology at this problem for decades. The 70s gave us the modern running shoe. Then came air bubbles, motion control. We even have smart shoes with chips in them now. And what's the result of all that incredible innovation? Absolutely nothing. The injury rate hasn't gone down in over 30 years. So, what are we doing wrong?
Well, to find the answer, we have to get away from the high-tech labs and fancy running stores. We have to go deep into the copper canyons of Mexico, where there's this almost mythical tribe that seems to be totally immune to all of our running woes. They're called the Tarahumara.
Actually, their real name is the Raramuri, and get this, it literally translates to the running people. Running isn't just a hobby for them, it's so core to their culture that it's right there in their name. They spend their lives moving through some of the toughest terrain you can imagine.
And when I say they run, I mean some of this stuff sounds like it's out of a comic book. We're talking about running over 400 miles in one go. That's insane. They have races that last for 2 full days without stopping. They even hunt by literally chasing deer until the animal collapses from pure exhaustion. And the craziest part? They have almost none of the running injuries we do, and they don't get our modern diseases like heart disease or cancer.
So what's their secret fuel? It's not some engineered gel or fancy powder. Nope. It's a simple drink called isquiate. It's basically just chia seeds, water, lime, and a little sugar. And this stuff is a nutritional powerhouse, loaded with everything you need for endurance.
So, this brings us to a huge question. If these people are thriving, running hundreds of miles over rocks in what are basically flimsy sandals, maybe the problem isn't running. Maybe the problem is our shoes.
I mean, you have to ask, right? We've got all this cushioning and support and technology, and we're constantly getting hurt. They're running on brutal trails in thin little sandals, and they're fine. Why aren't they the ones getting crippled all the time? It just doesn't make sense.
And here it is. This is the stat that just flips the whole argument on its head. A huge study found that runners in expensive, top-of-the-line running shoes were 123% more likely to get injured than people in cheap shoes. Let that sink in for a second. The more money you spend on protection, the more likely you are to get hurt. Wow. So why? Well, it all comes down to how we run. Those big, thick, cushioned shoes, they encourage us to land on our heel way out in front of our body. It's called a heel strike. And every time you do that, it's like hitting the brakes, sending a nasty shock wave right up your leg. But if you run barefoot, you naturally land on your forefoot, right underneath your center of gravity. You use your foot's arch and your calf muscle as the perfect, built-in shock absorbers.
As one physical therapist, Dr. Gerard Hartman said, putting your feet in modern shoes is like putting them in a plaster cast. All those tiny, important muscles in your feet just stop working. They get weak. We're essentially putting our own natural suspension system out of business.
And this all connects back to something much, much bigger. It goes deep into our own evolution. See, it turns out the Tarahumara aren't superhuman. They're just still in touch with an ability that every single one of us has. Because you, me, all of us, we were born to run. And I know that sounds like a crazy thing to say, but it's true. Over a long enough distance, a human can outrun almost any animal on the planet. Yes, even a horse. The Tarahumara didn't invent some new ability. They just never forgot the ancient skill that's literally built into our DNA. I mean, just look at the design. Our Achilles tendons are like perfect springs, storing and releasing energy. Our glutes, they're the biggest muscles in our bodies, and they're there specifically to keep us stable when we run. We even have this special ligament in our neck to stop our head from bobbing around. And the big one, we can sweat. It's the best cooling system in the entire animal kingdom.
So what was all this for? Well, it gave our ancestors a secret weapon: persistence hunting. See, we couldn't outrun an antelope in a sprint, no way, but we could just keep jogging after it, for hours and hours in the hot sun, until the animal, which can't sweat like we can, would just collapse from heat stroke. Running isn't just exercise, it was our original survival superpower.
Okay, so what does this incredible story about hidden tribes and our own evolution mean for you? You know, the next time you're thinking about going for a run, it means it might be time to stop fighting our bodies and start reclaiming our natural inheritance.
The fix for running pain isn't going to be found in more technology or a more expensive shoe. It's about listening to our bodies, trusting the incredible design we were all born with. The secret isn't something you can buy in a box. It's already there, in your own 2 feet.
And you know, in the end, the real secret of the Tarahumara might be even simpler than their form or their fuel. As one coach, Joe Vigil, said, maybe their real secret was that they just never forgot that running is supposed to be fun, that it's an act of joy, not a punishment.
And that really leaves us with one last thing to think about. If running is this amazing gift, this thing we evolved over millions of years to do, why have so many of us turned it into a painful, miserable chore? Something we have to force ourselves to do instead of something we get to do. If this topic has captured your interest and you'd like to dive deeper, the book is called Born to Run: A Hidden Tribe, Superathletes, and the Greatest Race the World Has Never Seen by Christopher McDougall.